It's TK Irish, and I mean to tell you, I don't know if Camp Kennerk can hold on to any more of these parties, man. This Halloween fiasco, it wasn't a fiasco. We had a really great time. But who is the one that's always left over for the next morning to pick everything up? Me. And I don't mind it. There's always people who help, stick around and help. But the problem is they stick around, they don't leave. A day or two is okay, but 3 or 4 days, what can you say? So Douglas, it's a lot of crazy things going on out there these days. And I wanted to share something with you real quick. You see this right here? This
Yes, I do, TK.
this is a diary that I started on May 24th, 1974, and it reads, I arrived in Limerick, Ireland at 11:30 a.m. I found this. This is the diary that I kept when I moved to Limerick, Ireland to work in the tool and die factory when I was 18 years old.
TK, that is wonderful news that you kept a diary and that you worked in a tool and die factory because of what we can chat about tonight on no, November 5th, 2025, number 22 of our Camp Kennerk podcast. Now, your Halloween party had consequences with Jojo Bear, and he's finally back here in the Possum Trot Studios. And I think you've got a picture of him at the Camp Kennerk podcast,
Yeah,
Camp Kennerk
yeah.
Halloween party.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I tell you what, he really makes a dashing figure when you see him like that.
Deal like that. Yes. And we've got Cowboy Otis over here for security.
Yes.
So he's a very scary guy. So we're all set to talk with you. And it's very interesting concerning your summer of what year was that? 1974?
Yes. That's almost 50 years ago, Douglas.
51
I
years.
know. I tell you what, but that's the reason why you keep these diaries. So I was reading through it and it was bringing back all these memories and thinking, oh, yeah, I remember that. Okay, yeah.
And things you didn't want to remember.
Well, I haven't gotten that far. I just read the first page.
Well, that's
So,
very, very interesting. And I found a few things around my house that were kind of interesting. And first off, I would like to, since you're from Indiana and you were talking about corn, you're always talking about corn. Uh, I found this up on top of my refrigerator. This is a Libby's can of whole kernel sweet corn. Okay, so this
yes,
is your corn.
yes.
Okay, and this I was the champion of the cornhole toss, and I won this can on the April 26th of 25 April 26, 2025 at our coffee party, yard party, you
Oh,
see.
how fun is that? That's a great, great gift for a cornhole participant.
Yeah. Yes, and that's what I want. But I also found something, and now that you had mentioned something about the Camp Kennerk, you've got a big spread up there, and you had your party. Well, mosquitoes are your biggest problem.
Yes, they are.
They,
Yes, they'll eat you alive.
Yes, they'll eat you alive. Okay. And I found something that needs to go on to our $1 million website.
Okay.
This is really, really cool. In fact, I got a couple of things here tonight,
Yeah.
but this is something called Buggy Beds.
Okay.
Buggy
Oh,
Beds. And what it is it's, and I don't know why they call it Buggy Beds, but it's a mosquito repellent band, mosquito repellent
oh,
band, and it goes around your wrist like a little charm bracelet or something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. And it keeps mosquitoes away from you. And I think this is just absolutely fantastic. And this needs to go on to our $1 million website. Great
Hmm.
ideas.
I'm writing that down right now.
Yeah, Buggy Beds, and it's child friendly, plant based. That's kind of interesting. It's plant based. What is the plant they're using? It must be, the whole aspect of citronella,
Yes.
and then the Possum Trot Farms buggy spray, where it's just nothing more than orange rinds, lemon rinds, soaking in water, and you take the water, put it in the spray bottle, spray it around the house. And this is my 5th year doing this, and I'm not seeing any bugs. I just spray it around the base of the house and in the eaves and around the windows. I think it's working. So this will add to the $1 million website. Million
I think that's true. We'll start promoting that in about February,
by
and,
February, yeah,
and we'll
load
just
up for
crank.
the summer.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, no doubt about it.
Yes, yes. So that's something that I found. Now, I was also found something that now I got this last year on a trip out to West Texas, and I had to stop for gas in a place south of San Angelo, and it was just me and this guy there at the counter filling up my coffee, and I had this big jug of coffee because I was driving,
Hmm.
and I said, "Well, how much for charge me to fill up my jug because I'm dropping?" And he said 50 cents. I
There
go,
you
"What?"
go.
I go, "What?" And he said, "No, it's only 50 cents." I said, "Okay, okay." So I'm chatting with this guy, real outstanding guy. And right there underneath, right there by the counter was something called Pick-L-Bak.
Now, what pray tell is that, young man?
This is pickle juice, Pick-L-Bak. It's pickle juice, okay? And it's made there in Fort Worth. It's a
Yeah.
Fort Worth, it's a Texas product. So some people are getting after it concerning an entrepreneurial situation, which we really appreciate.
Oh yes.
We really appreciate, and it's called Pickle-Bak. Now it just has it doesn't the only address is it's in Fort Worth, Texas, 76104. I don't know where that is, but they have a website and it's www.pickleback p
Now, do
p i
you
k dash l dash back.
like
And
if you wanted to make pickles, you would take and pour that over cucumbers?
no, 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 no. This is an edible product. Pickle juice. The whole
Okay. All right.
reasons of
Yeah.
pickle juice is so it prevents uh, cramps and
Yeah.
it's for its
Okay.
digestion.
So it's just like the juice that you would have in a jar of pickles. And
Yes, yes,
you
same
finish
thing.
the pickles, then you got the juice there.
Yeah, and here's their advertisement: electrolytic replacement, rehydration, hangover helper,
Ah, that could come in handy.
vinegar element, and
Hmm.
miracle muscle cramp prevention.
Ah. You
Now,
know,
what's interesting is the guy who was working behind the counter that night, his name was Todd, I believe, and he said, "This stuff works because I'm on my feet 12 hours a day."
hmm.
And I contacted the company last year and sent a video of this Pickle-Bak.
Yeah.
Say, you need to talk to your guy out there in
Hmm.
West Texas.
Hmm.
Because he's 100% promoting your product.
Well, if I remember correctly, Nolan Ryan, the great pitcher for the Texas Rangers and the
Yes,
Houston Astros, credited his longevity because he would soak his hands in pickle juice to keep it from blistering and getting calluses.
I never knew that, but Nolan Ryan, whatever Nolan Ryan says, he's
Now, I can't vouch that that's the truth, but it's a pretty good story.
well, TK, like I said, if Nolan Ryan says so, good enough for
That's
me.
right. That gives you great credibility.
Yeah, great credibility. So these are two entrepreneurial situations that we should add to the Camp Kennerk $1 million website uh,
Hmm.
when we open it up in
Yeah.
January.
Okay.
These
All
two
right.
products,
Okay.
so kind of interesting stuff. Now, you asked me, you were telling a whole story about you went to Ireland and you worked in a tool and die factory. Is that correct?
Yes, yes. And I lived up in the hills. We'll talk about this a little bit later. But yeah, I lived, my neighbors had thatch roof houses and they burned peat to stay warm. It was the real authentic deal. It wasn't a tourist kind of, camp or anything. I was right there in the mix with everyone.
Okay. Now, where again was this?
It was in Limerick.
Now,
Now,
I've
Limerick,
been to Ireland. I've been to Limerick. Okay, so
yeah, yeah. You fly into Shannon, and then the first thing you do is head over to Limerick and get a place to stay and get the oh, get some shut eye because of the
long
traffic.
flight. Yeah,
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 yeah.
long flight.
But
Yeah.
the problem is, I tell people about Limerick, and they say Limerick. Well, isn't there a poem like a limerick? I said, well, there's the limerick, and then there's a limerick. And
Yes.
they always got this part confused. So I wanted to share with you a limerick, an actual real limerick here that I think
Okay.
okay, because see, a limerick has only 5 lines and it has a certain rhythm to it. So here, and this is titled,
So,
what's
go
that?
ahead. I was going to say, is that similar to the structure of a sonnet, an English sonnet, or haiku in Japan? Limited number of syllables, lines, things like that?
I missed that day of English lit.
Let me tell you, participate in a Shakespearean play. You learn all this stuff.
Yes, yes, you do.
And I played first murderer in Macbeth at the
Uh-huh.
University Texas, University University of Texas at Dallas, I guess, or whatever.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So I played first murderer in Macbeth. You learn a lot just
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
Yeah.
So here's the way it goes. Okay, it's called The Brave Check In.
Okay.
At Camp Kennerk, the stories unfold with laughter and legends retold. TK Irish with grin as Doug joins right in. Their friendship's pure campfire gold.
TK, I'm very touched. That's
Hey,
beautiful. Would you repeat that, please?
sure. At Camp Kennerk, the stories unfold with laughter and legends retold. TK Irish will grin as Douglas joins right in. Their friendship's pure campfire gold.
TK, thank you. I'm very touched. That is beautiful. Do you set limericks to music or anything like that?
Yeah, yeah. As a matter of fact, I took it to a little bit further. And we'll do this later, where I actually have a chorus that goes along with it.
Oh my gosh, TK. Now you got your boys, they can be in the background or they can be the backup dancers. Well,
Well, yeah.
you could do a love song, you could do a rap song, a country western version, a
Oh
rock and roll.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So,
You can have a lot. You do a lot with it. It's it could be very good crossover for all the different type of music venues.
and you always call me Douglas as opposed to DTN. So I'm very touched by that,
Yeah.
TK. Very,
So,
very touched that.
but then we go back to the city of Limerick.
Okay.
Now, that's really sort of the home of the Shannon Airport because that's where we talked about. Everyone goes in there. And the Vikings are credited for finding it in 922 AD. 922 AD is when Limerick was founded by the Vikings.
Okay.
And
So I remember a story where their first complaint was trying to find enough coins to put in the parking meters for their boats.
it could be, because you know
Just
how
because
those.
you pulled into a place, there's a parking
That's
meter.
right. That's right.
Oh, do you have a quarter? No, you got a penny.
But what's interesting is that 50% of the people who live there are under 35. So it's a very young, vibrant community, and they got about 230,000 people living there.
Right,
So,
right.
so They very vibrant, very active. Um, but the secret is, here's the secret. Check this out.
Yes.
I'm sure you've had an Irish coffee in your life,
Yes, I sure have.
so you can become a wide awake drunk. Well,
You stole that line from me.
okay, I'll give credit for whoever has credit. But it was originally created at the airport, which now is the Shannon Airport, in 1940,
No
and
kidding.
it was basically a concoction of the same thing we have today. We have Irish whiskey, coffee, sugar, whipped cream. And the chef created it because everybody who was getting off the plane was adjusting to the cold, wet weather.
Yes.
And he started making those, and they went over to a huge, huge success. But I had to do my homework because you in San Francisco, there's a place called Buena Vista Bar.
And I have been there,
Yeah.
and I think I
Well,
got thrown out because of this story. Go ahead.
anyways, I always thought they invented it, but no, it was a salesman who travel diary salesman had brought it to their attention when he was traveling about 1950.
Ah, I
So,
see. I see. Yes.
so
Yes.
those old traveling salesmen, what can you say? But this one, but this one did a good job, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah. And of course, like all communities there, they have they're festival crazy. They have festivals on average
Hmm.
two a
Yes.
week.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah. And I don't know how you come up with enough names for the festivals, but maybe they just say, Limerick Festival 1, Limerick Festival 2.
The same here in Austin. There's something every week. There's either a festival or a protest down at the Capitol. You go to the festival at Peace Park, and then you go over to the Capitol where there's a protest about something.
Yeah. Well, since
There-
we don't have our Irish coffees with us, I do have my Dr. Pepper here. I
I've
need
got my Dr. Pepper in
I
a
need
big
a
gulp.
I'll pretend it's an Irish coffee.
Mhm.
Mm.
Well,
Woo.
now Bailey's is Irish for put in a
Yeah.
lot of Irish coffees now. Yeah.
Yeah, they have different variations, Bailey's in coffee, and
Right.
you can put the tequila in coffee. They don't care.
Oh yeah. Whatever you want.
Mexican Irish coffee, but
Right, right, right. Well, let me tell you my Buena Vista, San Francisco story. I was out there, I hitchhiked up from Mexico all the way up to San Francisco and wandered into the Buena Vista because my pal said, well, they're very famous for Irish coffee. And it was like 9, 10 o'clock at night. And I said, oh, geez, what I need is now. So
mhm.
we're over there in the corner and there's all these people around the bar and over in the corner. Everybody's drinking an Irish coffee.
I think that's the only thing they serve.
Yeah, it's probably the only thing they serve, and it's a beautiful location. And I'm standing there with my drink and say, well, here's to all the tourists having Irish coffee, Bailey's and Irish coffee at the Buena Vista in San Francisco. And everyone raises their glass. And the bartender looks at me and get out of here because we're all there for the same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember that distinctly. Here we are.
Here we are. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a fun place. It really is. You
Yes,
know,
yes, yes.
and it's give it to the Irish. They love to drink, right? But what happens when you drink, you fall asleep or whatever. But
Oh,
here they put caffeine in it, and they, But now the big thing is the version for the Gen Z is Red Bull and vodka.
what is in Red Bull? Is that just 5 shots of caffeine?
Yeah, it tastes nasty. At least
Oh,
excuse me. It's an acquired taste.
what a diplomat! What an Irish diplomat you are. Oh yes, I've never had it, and I just because it's so much caffeine, and for me, I'm a weenie. I can't do caffeine after 9:30.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. So
so. So yes, that's very interesting story. Now you had just gotten back from Indiana. Do you have any little stories that you want to wrap up Indiana?
Yeah, yeah. I was going through my notes and my pictures and videos, and I ran across this video that really piqued my interest. And I'll let you see it right now. Okay, Irish, check out the Salem Crossing Covered Bridge in Zionsville, Indiana. This is a National Historic Monument, and they dot the countryside throughout Indiana. These are all date back pre-Civil War, so they're very cool, and you can drive right through them and see how the people used to stay out of the weather when things were bad. Talk to you later, Douglas. Be careful. So, Douglas, as you can see, it's a covered bridge.
Yes,
Well, I took it for granted that covered bridges were all over the country because
yes.
that's the way they are in Indiana.
You grew
Growing
up with
up,
it.
grew up with them. Well, did some research and started looking around, and Indiana is considered the world capital for covered bridges.
Okay. All right.
And they, gosh, they'll last 100, years, and they're all made by hand. Hand being, they started making about 1845, pre-Civil War,
Yes, yes.
and still into the 1910s, 1915s, that they were making them all hand hewed, built by hand. So they cut the trees down there, they hew them, they cross beam them. And I want you to see this picture of what the architecture in work looks inside.
Wow.
Yeah, see, that's an engineering feat. You
Right.
know,
And they're still standing.
they're still standing. And, they didn't have computers or CADs or anything. This was just pretty much eyeball.
And the whole aspect of how you pile drive the wood into the river bottom.
Yeah.
They didn't have steam operated pile drivers then.
Well, we'll look at some other pictures and you'll see that there's no beams in the water. They're
Oh,
all they're
okay.
all freestanding across the water,
So,
which makes it interesting because some of these bridges um, could be as long as 400 or 500 feet.
oh, okay.
And but the real place you want to go, if you ever really want to see covered bridges, there's about 90 miles outside of west of Indianapolis is Park County. Now, first of all, you're not going to see covered bridges going down the freeway. That
No,
no, you have to get out in the farmlands, and and they got maps and everything, so you could really get a better idea. But Park County is considered the covered bridge capital of the world. They have currently they have 31 still in play from
really, really.
yeah. So
Okay. Now
and then
didn't Clint Eastwood and Meryl Streep make a movie called Bridges of Madison County years and years ago, a love story?
yeah, yeah, he was a National Geographic photographer, and he comes into Madison County to take some pictures, and one thing leads to another, and
Right, right.
once it got gooey and kissy, so
Yeah.
but they have
Well, that also proves my point at why they built covered bridges.
yeah. Well, the
Well,
real
the thing is, they didn't have drive-in theaters. So in the old days, if you had a horse and buggy and a sweetie, let's go over here under the covered bridge.
yeah, that's right.
There's
Yeah,
31 of them. We
yeah.
can
Well, in
through.
that county, yeah. So it's really fun to go back and through there. But they estimated at one time there was at least 400 to 500 covered bridges in Indiana.
No kidding.
Yeah.
No, well,
So they have big festivals out there. Millions of people come from all over to see the covered bridges and see the design and the
they
architecture.
bring their horse buggy and their sweetie.
They can. They can because most of them are still operable where you can drive across them.
Okay, there you go.
I mean, because I always thought they built them just for shelter for the people who were out.
Well,
But
they built them for Clint Eastwood's movie.
oh yeah, yeah, they knew all that about 1860. So they were real foresight. They had an insight of what's going to happen down the road.
Clint is coming.
Yes, exactly. So they have the real purpose of covering the bridge is to protect the wood of the bridge.
Oh, okay. Mhm.
So they protect it from the elements, and it works because these bridges have been up for 125, 150 years.
Do they coat it with something because of termites, ants, or fungus or something?
Well, they don't have termites there, and it gets cold. So
Okay.
anything like that is not going to have much of an opportunity. But it's just the elements. And so here's an example of the different designs and you could get a better idea of what we're talking about here. So Douglas, you see how that works? You
Yes,
know,
yes. Yeah.
depending on whether they're going over a large river or a creek or there's no beams that are going into the water.
Very cool, TK. Very cool. Very, very cool.
But
Yeah, very
and I
cool.
don't know, I've been in the barns over the years growing up, and they used to see those hand-hewed beams.
Yes.
They'd cut the tree down and they would just take that and square it off and pick it up. And it's a real art, but it's obviously, technology has come into play. And
Time consuming. Old hard labor, sweat
oh
labor.
yeah, yeah. And of course, they had nothing else to do. You know, plant their
You gotta
corn.
do something while you're growing the corn.
That's right.
Well, let's go build a bridge.
Yep, let's go build a bridge. Margaret was asking me about that. Honey, when are you gonna get that bridge built? Well, I'm gonna work on that today.
And of course, he said, well, I would if you'd stop complaining every 6 months about me not doing it.
Yeah. So I'm sure it was a community project, especially with the Amish and being the great builders that they are. There's a huge population of Amish in Indiana.
Oh, is there really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And great carpenters. I mean, they could do more with a piece of wood and a nail than we could ever imagine.
Yeah. And whatever the Amish are growing or building, I'm buying. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
no
And
chemicals, no nothing. Real simple way of life. Uh, Whatever the Amish say, fine, good,
yeah. Yeah.
perfect. No cell phones, no cars. Okay, fine.
No energy, man. They create their own energy.
Yes, yes, absolutely true. That's absolutely true. Now that's terrific, TK. Now, you had mentioned earlier that while you had gone to Limerick in Ireland, you had worked as a tool and die mechanic, actual mechanic.
It was a tool die factory we made. It was a company based in Ohio, and
Yes.
they had a plant in Limerick. And
Okay.
so what happened was, so this is where it gets interesting, Douglas, because I'm living up in the hills, and this is mid 70s.
Okay.
They were still living back another 50 years behind that,
Yes.
meaning
Yes.
all my neighbors had lived in thatch roof homes,
Yes.
the big brass, and you go in and they had a living room or a living area, and it was heated by peat.
Uh-huh.
They dig that out of the ground and dry it,
Yes.
and they keep it lit, and that gives a real low, high heat intensity.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and they burn it year round because you need it year round. It gets colder
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
And
Now, how
so,
did how did you get the job in Ireland when the plant was based in Ohio?
yeah, I had an uncle who lived in Limerick.
Oh, I
And
see.
and so I went to live with him, and being the great uncle that he was able to, make some phone calls and give me the job.
Oh,
But
I see. I see. Now,
but
do you still have family in Limerick?
distant family. But
Okay,
yeah,
so
we still have
you know,
family.
we could get them a Camp Kennerk podcast copy. We could send it to them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I got a couple that are following. They're still,
Oh, good,
yeah,
good. Well,
yeah.
that's good.
So
Our
that,
galaxy is growing, and
yeah,
the contacts in Limerick is absolutely cool.
yeah.
And it'll match this story I'm about to tell you because the key words. We didn't rehearse this or even talk about it, but when you said tool and die shop, I have a family story that's kind of interesting. My grandfather, a man named Sam Randall, uh, lived in Milton, Ontario, Canada. That's where I was this
Yeah.
summer, for a couple of weeks, and he was a mechanic for P.L. Robertson Company that was based in Milton, Ontario, Canada.
Yes.
Okay. And he married my grandmother, 1922 or something like that. He was a mechanic in this small town of Milton. About that time, Milton had 300 people. It was a farming community. He had a job at P.L. Robertson, which is a tool and die manufacturer. And I have one of their products here. Okay.
Really.
And he asked, Sam asked out my grandmother to go to the movies, and she worked at the Bank of Montreal as a teller. So
Hmm.
she very wisely looked at his bank account.
Yeah, yeah. What do they do? That's how you do your background search. Have a friend who's a teller and say, "Hey, sweet, check out this guy's bank account for me."
Yeah, I'm going to the movies. And of
Yeah.
course, uh, I walked by where the old Bank of Montreal was, and I drove by the old P.L. Robertson plant.
Uh-huh.
Now, and the movie house, which I attended when I was a kid, was just about four doors down from the bank. We're
Well, that's
talking small town. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. So P.L. Robertson was a very interesting man. He worked for I'll say, and you can go on Wikipedia and look him up, P.L. Robertson. He worked as a salesman for a uh, tool company, something like that. And
hmm
he was traveling in Canada. And he cut his hand while he was working with a slot head screwdriver, a
hmm
slot head,
Yeah.
okay, which is something like that. And he said that's a slot head right there. Everybody
Yeah.
knows
Yeah.
slot head. So he thought there's got to be a better way. And so he invented what was then known as the Robertson screwdriver, which
Ah,
we know as a Phillips head.
yes.
But he invented the Robertson prior to the Phillips head. And the story goes, and you can check this all on Wikipedia, that P.L. Robertson was supplying about 800 of these screws because you have this matching screw,
Yeah. Yeah.
the Phillips head screw, that sort of stuff, to each of the Model Ts. So Henry Ford wanted to buy out P.L. Robertson, and then P.L. Robertson said no because he'd lose his business in
Yeah.
this town of Milton. And so that's when Henry Ford went to H.F. Phillips and developed the Phillips head. So in the United States, it's called the Phillips head. In Canada,
Ah,
it's called the Robertson head. It's two different things, two different companies to this day.
yeah.
Okay. So my grandfather, Sam Randall, worked for P.L. Robertson. Now, this is a very small town. Now, the stories go back and forth, but my grandmother said that they used to travel with P.L. Robertson and his wife. And
Hmm.
they would, because it was a small town, but my grandfather was kind of a pretty capable guy, you know, blue collar guy,
Yeah.
mechanical.
Handy with his hands.
Handy with his hands. And so P.L. Robertson and his wife took a trip overseas. And they thought so much of my grandmother and my grandfather that they brought back a set of these brass vases. Okay.
Wow.
These brass vases. This is probably 14 inches tall and it
Uh-huh.
has some inscription on it. Okay.
Yes.
Now it's a pair of them. And the I remember seeing these on the shelf when I was about 4 or 5 years old. Then when
Hmm.
we moved to Kingston, Ontario, my mother got these. And then when my family all passed, I just got these this week.
Isn't that something?
Just got them this week. And there is some inscription on here. Okay. Now,
It's Arabic?
the family story was that these came from India.
Yes.
Okay, from India. Okay, brass from India. Okay,
Mhm.
because of the inscription. So we've got Drew over at the 7-Eleven, and we've mentioned Drew a couple of
Sure.
times. The Indian dude who runs the 7-Eleven, real nice guy. I really like him a lot. And so I took these on over to him and I said, Drew, could you tell me what this Sanskrit or Hindu writing or Urdu writing is? And he looks at it for 2 seconds. He says, no, no, that's Arabic.
Yes.
It's Arabic. Okay. So for 70 years, let's see, 90, yeah, 75 years, whenever he's been a fan, we always thought it was Indian. But now
Hmm.
I have to find somebody who speaks Arabic or reads script Arabic.
Yes.
So this has been my week of
Hmm.
going down memory lane of family and a pair of vases like this as artifacts.
Well, it's funny. I know the challenge that you're going to have. The reason why I say that, I had an uncle, Father Dan Kennerk, who has spent 52 years in Bangladesh as a missionary priest. Well, they wrote a book about it, and they sent me a copy of the book,
Yes.
and it was in Bengali.
Well, didn't we interview Nishi Kromati, who was from India? Maybe she could help you.
Or her parents, because her parents are, were born there, and they have family there.
Yes, yeah.
So
That,
might be
yeah,
able to take a picture or a video and send it to her and see what she could do with it.
yes, yes. Searches like that are help us understand our own history. We don't have to read in the book about history. We can just search our own family.
Exactly. That's the beauty of genealogy.
Yes, yes, yes. So thought maybe you'd enjoy seeing that. This is kind of my week. Now, I've got something else of interest that you might enjoy. Uh, Two things, actually. Uh, our first podcast, number one, was titled Aussies and Golf.
Yes.
And it featured Tim and Carrie, my neighbors from Adelaide,
Yes.
and their adventures, and they're very charming people. I see them over here uh, many times, and they are travelers. They travel. They are
Hmm.
travelers. I'm not even sure where they are now. They travel. Last I heard, they were in Portugal and then Holland, and they were traveling. And then they
Good for
came back
them.
on for a couple of days. I said, "Oh, hey, how's everything? Let's get together for a cold and adult beverage." And I says, "Oh,
Hmm.
that no, we'll have to wait. We're off to someplace else." I
Yeah.
said, "Oh, okay, off, and we won't be back until later." I said,
Yeah. They're
"Okay."
adventurers. That's what you call them, adventurers.
Yes, and in the Australian world, it's called a walkabout.
Oh, okay.
You see, they're traveling, they're going on a walkabout.
Okay.
They're Aussie. That's Aussie talk.
Yeah, I know that's not Austin talk, it's Aussie talk.
Aussie talk.
Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes.
Well,
All right.
you could write a limerick about that. Aussie talk versus Austin talk.
Well, TK, I will let you handle it.
Okay.
I just do the lyrics for Huddy Ward and the Pecos Boys, and to our listeners around the galaxy. If you look up Huddy Ward, Huddie Ward,
Uh-huh.
Ward, and the Pecos Boys, they have 10 songs. I write the lyrics for their song.
I know they're very good. I really like them.
Oh, that's thank you, TK. I enjoy doing it. And but you handle the
All
limericks.
right.
So, and an Irish song, and you need a little flute, don't they? And
A
the Irish
harp.
have
You can
big,
use
but
a harp, a fiddle, a little flute, just
okay.
a guitar,
Well, start doing it because next March 17th at Camp Kennerk, you can have the Irish Festival, St. Patrick's Day.
We could launch it. We'll launch that on St. Patrick's
And
Day.
that would even out because you got Halloween in
Hmm.
October, and then you got St. Patrick's Day, and then it's too hot.
March. Yeah.
It's too
Yeah.
hot.
It's a ways away. I could
Yes.
recover.
Yes. Okay. So anyway, uh, they asked me to just to keep an eye out on their house, and that's no. And so I was in conversation with them, and they said, "Oh, Doug, we appreciate watching your podcast." They shared it with some of their friends, and that's what
Uh-huh.
they really enjoyed it. And then all of a sudden, Tim said, you put that Earl of Leicester restaurant in your Camp Connaught Hall of Fame. Let me give you a recommendation for the
Oh.
Camp Connaught Hall of Fame. I
Ah.
said, okay. And here it is. And and I'll spell it. And I think we'll have a video here when Kevin, the magnificent computer dude, can figure it on out. But
Yeah.
it's called De Ehrenberg Cube in McLean Vale, south of Adelaide. Adelaide being in the center of Australia in the bottom there, and it's Darenberg Cube in McLaren Vale, VAL, south of Adelaide. And it's a winery, restaurant, and they've got a very, very unique building that this
Okay.
great food is. And Tim and Carrie said, "Oh, you'll love it. It's a great, great place." And if you if you go down there and you ask for Chester,
Okay.
because Tim and Chester are great mates.
Ah. Well,
Okay, they're
running
great.
buddies. He
They're
was,
running. We call them running buddies. They say mates,
or wingman.
wingman, whatever, that sort of stuff. Here in Texas, if you share tacos or barbecue, you're tight. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
sort of, so there, I guess they put shrimp on the Barbie in there. They give the Aussie salute or whatever it is.
Yeah.
They jump around like
Well,
kangaroos.
I've had some wines from that part of the world, and they are very tasty. There's no doubt
Yes,
about
and
that.
so I think Kevin has a video or some pictures of the Ehrenberg cube. Here we go.
Now I know why they call it the cube.
Yes. Okay. Now, here is what they say about a great place. We use the Camp Connaught Hall of Fame fine dining restaurant.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, what they say there in Australia is they really snob it.
Snob it. SNO. Snob.
SNOB snobs it. snobs it. They
Oh.
really snobs it. And I think that's going to be the title of this number 22.
Okay.
Snob.
Snobs it. Okay. We'll
They
leave
really
that.
snobs it. Yeah. So
Okay.
wanted to mention that out, Tim and Carrie. But if you go there, you've got to say hello to Chester. Yeah, I don't think you get a discount, but just tell them you're from
Hey,
Camp.
but you got a new friend.
Got a new friend. We've got a new friend in Chester. I hope we hear from him. And
Yeah.
maybe we could do a podcast with him.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah. We said,
Wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't that be
yeah.
cool? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I'd like to end it. I've been blabbing on here, but I'd like to end it to let you know what I have done this past week. Okay.
Okay.
We haven't had rain in a long, long time.
I know that.
We know that. Doug the neighbor decided to come up and use some of his magic to help generate some rain last year.
Yes.
And then we did it again this year, and it worked.
Oh man.
DTN magic worked. Okay. Now hang on just a second. What I did is I had a good neighbor, an artist, paint up a sign that says rain dance here. Can you see
Yeah,
that?
I see that. Yeah.
Rain dance here. And what we have been doing, we being the Royal DTN and Douglas, we have been taking this around the city of Austin and getting people to dance here because this thing is strategically located, pointing to the tower, University of Texas Tower,
Hmm.
6th Street, over to Maudie's Great Tacos, and over to the Deep Eddy Cabaret in the,
Okay.
big
Yeah.
pubs, so, and
Hmm.
people would dance. And I took it over to WellMed, where my doctor is.
Yes.
Okay. And he gave me a clean bill of health, except for this, and this, and this,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
this.
Oh, you're fine. But,
But I'd
but,
like to do more tests.
yeah.
Why did I come in here? I was happy when I came in here. And so their gals that work over there are the Midtown Cuties.
Oh,
And we have a video.
okay.
Hi, I'm Doug the neighbor here in awesome Austin, Texas. And we've got a real problem because we don't have any rain. Girls, it's really rough. No rain, that's right. So we have the rain dance here board, and it's strategically located right that way is to the tower, and over that way is to the 6th Street over there, and the Deep Eddy Cabaret is that way, and Maudie's Great Tacos is over that way. So this is strategically located, and I'm here with, what's your all's name? What's your name?
The Midtown Cuties.
Midtown Cuties, and they're going to do some a rain dance. Now, do you ladies have the magic? Oh, come on, do you have the magic? All right, let's go. Give us some magic. Start dancing. Keep going. We want a thunderstorm. Don't give up. We want a thunderstorm. Keep going. Keep going. Oh my gosh. Let's see some two-step there. Let's go. Okay. All right. And who are you, ladies?
The Midtown Cuties.
Wow.
And guess what? That was shot on a Friday, and
Uh-huh.
it rained Saturday and Sunday. So, rain dance here. We will travel. Doug the neighbor will travel. You
Uh-huh.
get the group together.
Yeah. Well, at least you know the ones that really have the magic. I mean, of course, everybody has magic, but it sounds like those ladies know what they're doing.
The Midtown Cuties at WellMed.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
they know what they're doing. So that's pretty much my week, TK. All sorts of fun things. And you sound like you've been doing pretty good, repairing from the Halloween party, and all good. All good.
Okay. Well, all I could say is Aaron go Bra.
Go Cowboys.